Nazi Germany certainly had its fair share of crazy contraptions and weapons. As the Second World War drew to a close, Hitler's best designers and scientists were employed in a frantic race to develop some of the most sophisticated and advanced weaponry of the age. These were part of Hitler's desperate last attempts and were dubbed as the Wonder Weapons or Wunderwaffen. Number 9. The Messerschmitt Me 323 Giant was a German military transport aircraft of World War II. It was a powered variant of the Me 321 military glider and was the largest land-based transport aircraft of the war. With capacity for 130 troops or 10,000 to 12,000 kilograms or 22,046 to 26,455 pounds. Length of 28.2 meters or more than 92 feet, wingspan 55.2 meters or more than 181 feet. Height, 10.15 meters or more than 33 feet. Wing area, 300 square meters or 3,200 square feet. A total of 213 are recorded as having been made, 15 being converted from the Me 321. Number 8. The V-2, with the technical name Aggregat 4, was the world's first long-range guided ballistic missile. The missile, powered by a liquid propellant rocket engine, was developed during the Second World War in Germany as a vengeance weapon assigned to attack Allied cities as retaliation for the Allied bombings against German cities. The V-2 rocket also became the first artificial object to travel into space on June 20, 1944. Research into military use of long-range rockets began when the studies of graduate student Wernher von Braun attracted the attention of the German army. A series of prototypes culminated in the A-4, which went to war as the V-2. Beginning in September 1944, over 3,000 V-2s were launched by the German Wehrmacht against Allied targets, first London and later Antwerp and Liege. According to a 2011 BBC documentary, the attacks from V-2s resulted in the deaths of an estimated 9,000 civilians and military personnel, and a further 12,000 forced laborers and concentration camp prisoners died as a result of their forced participation in the production of the weapons.
Number 7. Maus was a German World War II super heavy tank, completed in late 1944. It is the heaviest fully enclosed armored fighting vehicle ever built. 5 were ordered, but only 2 hulls and 1 turret were completed, the turret being attached, before the testing grounds were captured by advancing Soviet military forces. These 2 prototypes underwent trials in late 1944. The complete vehicle was 10.2 meters, or more than 33 feet long, 3.71 meters, or more than 12 feet wide, and 3.63 meters, or 12 feet high. Weighing 188 metric tons, the Maus's main armament was the Krupp-designed 128 mm KWK-44L/55 gun, based on the 12.8 cm PaK-44 anti-tank field artillery piece, also used in the casemate-type Jagdtiger tank destroyer. The 128 mm gun was powerful enough to destroy all Allied armored fighting vehicles then in service, some at ranges exceeding 3,500 meters. The Maus was intended to punch holes through enemy defenses in the manner of an immense breakthrough tank, while taking almost no damage to any components.
Number 6. Nazi Germany experimental fighter Horten 229. A German prototype stealth fighter bomber initially designed by Ray Marr and Walter Horten to be built by Gotha Wagenfabrik late in World War II. It was the first flying wing to be powered by jet engines. The design was a response to Hermann Göring's call for light bomber designs capable of meeting the 3x1000 requirement, namely to carry 1,000 kilograms or 2,200 pounds of bombs a distance of 1,000 kilometers or 620 miles. With a speed of 1,000 kilometers per hour or 620 miles per hour. Only jets could provide the speed, but these were extremely fuel-hungry, so considerable effort had to be made to meet the range requirement. Based on a flying wing, the Horten 229 lacked all extraneous control surfaces to lower drag. It was the only design to come even close to the requirements and received Göring's approval. This design helps reduce the aircraft's size and creates a smoother shape, one less likely to bounce back radar signals being sent out to detect it. Number 5. During the early 1940s, Nazi engineers had managed to develop a sonic cannon that could literally shake a person apart from the inside. Or at least that's what they claimed. Designed by Dr. Richard Walaschek, the cannon consisted of a methane gas combustion chamber leading to 2 large parabolic reflectors, the final version of which had a diameter over 3 meters. The dishes were pulse detonated at around 44 Hz and were connected to a chamber composed of several subunits firing tubes. These tubes would allow a mixture of methane and oxygen in the combustion chamber, which when ignited, would turn these gases into noise that could kill. This supposed sonic cannon was only tested on laboratory animals and was never tested on human beings. Either or, in practice this thing would have been very vulnerable to enemy fire. Number 4. Sanger's antipodal bomber was at once the earliest serious plan for manned space flight in the Germanic world and the most advanced and forward-thinking. The Silver Bird, as the development team called it, was a hypersonic, single-stage-to-orbit aerospace plane powered, in its original form, by gasoline and liquid oxygen rocket motors. It would cruise at speeds above Mach 10 at altitudes between 60 kilometers and 75 kilometers or 37 miles and 47 miles. It was an extraordinary conception for 1933. By 1938, when Sanger offered his creation to the Austrian War Ministry, his stainless steel wind tunnel models featured ultra-thin, knife-edged, wedge-profile wings and a flat-bottomed, plano-convex fuselage that earned the craft the further nickname of Flat Iron. It was to take off from a special rocket sled running on a monorail. When it reached 1.640 feet, it would lift off and climb to operational altitude in a steep, near-ballistic trajectory. Sanger arrived at this shape after exhaustive trials in what was then the world's only supersonic wind tunnels, located in Germany. The design included a pressure cabin, retractable landing gear, a bomb bay, and jettisonable heat shields for the cabin windows. In its operation, the antipodal bomber was a hybrid of aircraft and orbital spacecraft. But the Silver Bird would shut down its engines before attaining orbital velocity. It would sink back to Earth until it bounced off the upper edge of the atmosphere. The bomber would proceed to the target like a stone skipping over the surface of a pond. After dropping its weapons, it would continue on around the globe to its base. Number 3. The year is 1945 and things aren't going well for Hitler and the Third Reich. As the walls begin to close in, Hitler puts even more resources into his Wunderwaffe or wonder weapons. The prize of the lot, a bell-shaped machine, was potentially capable of destroying everything and everyone in its path, or perhaps even altering time itself. An alleged secret of Nazi Germany is a device known as Die Glock, the bell, which was developed for different purposes depending on the perspective of the sources which describe its existence. It consisted of counter-rotating vertical chambers within a chamber which was shaped to resemble a large bell, manufactured from exceptionally hard metal. The rotating chambers were filled with a liquid which was codenamed Zerum 525, which some have said was likely red mercury. Some sources describe the bell as having a concave mirror mounted on the top, which gave it the ability to present images from the past for viewing by its operators. The problem was that according to the same sources no person could be near the bell to view any of the images it received and presented, as they would be killed from the effects of the bell's operation. Number 2. In 1929, the German physicist Hermann Oberth developed plans for a space station from which a 100-meter wide concave mirror could be used to reflect sunlight onto a concentrated point on the Earth. Later during World War II, a group of German scientists at the German Army Artillery Proving Grounds at Hillersleben began to expand on Oberth's idea of creating a superweapon that could utilize the sun's energy. This so-called sun gun would be part of a space station 8,200 kilometers or 5,100 miles above Earth. The scientists calculated that a huge reflector, made of metallic sodium and with an area of 9 square kilometers or 3.5 square miles, could produce enough focused heat to make an ocean boil or burn a city. After being questioned by officers of the United States, the Germans claimed that the sun gun could be completed within 50 or 100 years. With the deployment and validation of satellite megaconstellations, their use as a sun gun has also been proposed. Instead of a vast individual mirror, hundreds of low-cost reflectors could in theory be synchronized to concentrate solar irradiance and aim it at a target. Number 1. Haunebu 1, Haunebu 2, Haunebu 3. Estimated to be filmed 80 years ago in 1939 during the Second World War, the Nazis were experimenting on much more than bombs. Many German engineers transferred to America under Operation Paperclip after the war ended to work for NASA and other top-secret operation to advance the technology. There are claims the Third Reich actually successfully carried out a test of their flying saucer in Prague on Valentine's Day, 1945. Allegedly, the aircraft reached an altitude of 12,400 meters within 3 minutes and a speed of 1370 miles per hour or 2,200 kilometers per hour. The saucer could theoretically reach speeds of 2,500 miles per hour or 4,000 kilometers per hour, which is more than 3 times the speed of sound. Exceeding Mach 3 would make the Nazi saucer almost twice as fast as the state-of-the-art F-35 warplane being rolled out in the US and UK. Claims are that the saucer could take off vertically like a helicopter and had been in development since 1938. The CIA document alleges the saucers were constructed at the same slave labor-driven factories which made the dreaded V-2 rockets. Nazi engineers were reportedly evacuated from Prague as the Red Army bared down upon them. German scientist Klein was of the opinion that the saucers are at present being constructed in accordance with German technical principles and expressed the belief that they will constitute serious competition to jet-propelled airplanes. CIA spooks compiled these files at the height of UFO mania that gripped the US during the early 1950s. From secret bases in the Antarctic, the Nazis are claimed to continue testing their experimental weapons. Modern myth links the development of Nazi saucers and experimental aircraft to the outbreak of the UFO phenomena. UFO sightings from the era are alleged to be secret tests of experimental technology by the Nazis and the US and Soviets.